Welcome to the Best Forking Friends podcast. I'm your host, Joel, and with us tonight we have Kyle,
Hello.
Paul,
Hello, folks.
and Kate.
What's up?
How's everybody doing tonight? You guys feeling good?
Feeling great.
Doing
Yeah?
all right. Long week. Ready for the weekend.
What happened? What was long?
You know, every time I have a short week because I take a vacation day, which I did on Monday, the 4-day week seems like an 8-day week.
Oh, yeah, you were on vacation last week.
I was. And
Was it good?
my vacation was good. It visited my mom and had a good time just hanging out with her mostly.
She's up in Wisconsin, right?
Up in the Dells area in Wisconsin.
That's really cool. And your girls, did they have a good time too?
Mostly they hung out in their bedroom. They share a bedroom up there, and they hung out playing on their phones.
Yeah, that's normal.
Did
Yeah.
they get along at least?
They didn't talk to each other, so absolutely.
Teenagers.
Yeah.
Well, is Samantha's almost a teenager?
She's 11, but she's 16.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, in her mind, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Gotcha. How was your week, Paul?
It was typical week in prison.
For our listeners who don't know, that's where Paulie works. Okay, he's not, he's not an inmate, but yeah, just a typical week. That's
Yeah, it's
cool.
typical.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm happy that the weekend is here. It's gonna be a warm one.
so true. It's so funny though when we put these out, and people who first listen to them, they usually get them on a Monday or Tuesday. So we're always recording on a weekend, and we're like, "Yay, it's a weekend!" And everybody's listening is like, "No, it's not."
It's all right, though, because I listen to them while I'm working. So it
Sure.
helps the time go by while I'm working. So
Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah. Kate, how was your week?
So my week was extremely long. I was extremely busy this week. But my oldest turned 21 yesterday.
Wow.
So
Yeah, Lexi.
that was kind of exciting. I made her a homemade cheesecake and we got her some sushi and then just prepping for this weekend, taking her to Fast Eddie's and then to the
Fast
casino. And it's going to be fun.
You know what's ironic? Paul's daughter also turned 21,
No
and all those
way.
things happened to her as well. That's so crazy.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's insane.
It's like we live the same life.
It's like you guys are married or something. Awesome. All right. Well, hey, I had a good week. We had an auditor come to, not like we have a certification we have to recertify for at certain facilities. And our auditor, he was a nice guy, but he was slow. Oh, it was painful.
He was a sloth.
I'm sure, yeah, but not the kind you want to hug. I'm sure you guys have had experiences with anything in the service industry where you're used to a certain level of speed or efficiency, and then you have an experience where it's not quite as good. And not, like I said, not rude, not mean, just
not fast.
it was kind of painful. You know, I'm sitting here thinking, you know, if you have questions, you can just shoot me an email. I will get you that as soon as possible. But I have other things I could be doing because it was a virtual audit. We didn't have to be in the same room. Anyways, I'm maybe going a little too far in the weeds, but it was a good week. We passed our audit. We're recertified. We're all good. But much like the rest of you, I'm ready. I'm ready for the weekend. I'm ready for this. This is always a highlight when we can get together, and
It's gonna be a warm one.
it's gonna be warm. Heat wave coming, brother.
Dry.
Yeah,
No rain for 2 weeks.
gonna slow down the grass mowing.
Yeah. If I'm going to sweat my ass off mowing tomorrow, it better stay short for a while.
Yeah,
It's going to.
You're gonna take a break.
Good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good.
Long one.
Well, in the vein of mowing your lawn, some people consider lawn care a hobby. Not me, but well, that's what we're going to talk about then. We're going to talk about hobbies and interests. And the first question that I have for you all is, what hobby have you picked up recently? And I'm going to start with Kate.
So I feel like I'm like starting my old lady era. So within the past like month, I've started embroidering. and it's so much fun. Like, I
Really?
totally get why, like, the grandmas, like, absolutely love to do it because it's relaxing and it takes time. And it's not like I'm sitting there reading a book every night. I'm actually, like, doing something else that I'll have to show for it.
What are
So,
you embroidering?
well, I'm embroidering something I don't want to say necessarily what it is because it's a gift for someone
Oh,
who does listen to the podcast.
okay.
But it's so like embroidery is literally like you have a pattern and then you're changing out different types of threads and colors, and then there's different types of stitches that you have to do to make different patterns, and it's a lot of fun.
I always think of it like whenever people have polos and it's got like a sewn
That's
on
exactly what it is.
a sewn on logo
Yep.
on like the pocket side. So, have you done any of that?
No, this is my very, very first piece I've ever done, and it's probably going to take me like 1,200 years to finish.
That's a few years.
But but it's fun.
It's relaxing.
It is.
And
Like,
we'll talk
I watched
about
you
that.
guys like play Fortnite, and I like before I would watch or I would read, and now I like embroidery while I watch you guys shoot each other.
And so, how did you get into that?
You know, I just saw it. I was like on Amazon or whatever, and it kept popping up because I think it knows my age, and it's like, oh, maybe this old lady would like to embroidery someday.
The algorithm got you.
And I saw this one, and it's perfect for this person because I said it's a gift. Like, it's
Right.
100%. She's going to absolutely love it, and it's going to mean something to her. So I was like, you know what? I'll try it. And within like the first day, I was like, this is so much fun. Now, some of the stitches, like, I feel like you need to be like a mathematician to do them, but it's a good time. I recommend.
That's awesome. And I'm glad that you're finding a lot of positives from it. Like, I think that's what you should strive to do with any hobby, to be honest. I mean, otherwise it's not really a hobby, it's a chore. You should be enjoying it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Paul, what about you? What's a new hobby for you?
Well, I'm unlike Katie. I think I'm stepping back in time to when I was a child, basically.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I'm collecting Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
Because my friend UncleJolty.com and
Shameless plug for me.
I mean, at the same time, I'm all of a sudden playing Fortnite because of my kids.
Yeah.
I hadn't played video games in years, and now I'm addicted to it. And shamelessly played every night.
You know what? That's okay. I think something that I try to live by is like you should never not have some imagination and some childhood like wonder that you keep with you the rest of your life. Like you should never just like totally get rid of that. And I think that if you're you're having fun with it, then there's nothing wrong with it.
I'll say originally it was like Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
I was originally just trying to support a friend in a venture he was doing and trying to support Uncle Jolteon. And now all of a sudden I'm like, me must have 6 packs tonight. You know?
Yeah.
I
yeah.
gotta see, I gotta see him get opened, you know?
Yeah.
And
It's fun.
See what's waiting for me. But there's people in my life that would like to see me cut back on this newfound addiction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are
Well-
any of those people on this podcast?
Well,
I joke and say I would love to have Paul's Pokemon card money.
Ah.
Well, I do like it. And there
You
is
do.
something
You enjoy it.
There is something fun about watching your cards get pulled, even though 90% of them we already have,
Yeah.
at least,
Yeah.
right? Like most time, even Twilight Masquerade after the first, 30 packs, 20 packs,
Mhm.
you probably already have 90% of the collection. You're just waiting.
You
on
have
those
most of the basic
exotics.
ones. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you're just waiting on the exotic pulls.
Yeah.
But my friend Uncle Jolteon got me into that, and then as far as Fortnite goes, my daughter initially got me involved in that, and you as well, I
Dude,
believe.
we were both hooked at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So that was New Year's of 2023. So 6 months ago.
Yep.
We went out to eat, and then we came back to Paul and Kate's, and yeah, it was that. It was, or was it Kelwis? I don't remember. It was one of those.
It was more around Thanksgiving time frame.
Was it?
Yeah.
I knew it was December, but anyway, her and her boyfriend were playing downstairs, and we were sitting down there with her, and then she offered to let us play. I'm like, you know what? Why not? Right? Like,
Mhm.
and I know you were a little hesitant because as your friend and somebody who knows you,
I don't like to necessarily try new things in front of people and
because
fail,
you're,
and fail.
because you
so-
want to try to get better and,
Yeah.
and prove that you can at least excel at it or
Yeah.
get better at it,
Yeah.
right?
But yet you ate the weird thing on my plate that I thought was a hot dog covered in cheese.
He
I'm
succeeded.
Baby, I'm still not sure what the hell I consumed,
Yeah.
but it didn't taste terrible.
Yeah.
It just didn't taste like anything I recognized.
Just,
He ate it.
It was food. It
Yeah.
was food.
So you're into Fortnite now, and you're into Pokemon cards. Are there any other hobbies?
Well, I have lots of hobbies.
You have
but-
lots of hobbies.
But you said specifically
New hobbies. Yeah.
and those are my new hobbies.
You're also a pool cleaning boy.
I am a pool boy. I have
Yeah.
a nice tan. My
Kate
son-
loves her pool boy.
Yep.
I do.
I like to trim our hedges. No, most of my hobbies are revolved around hunting and fishing, which I haven't done much fishing lately. It's kind of a thing of the past for me. I'd like to get back into that. Hunting is still very much there, but I really don't do a whole lot anymore.
Not too many new things though.
No.
But
No.
even Fortnite and Pokemon cards.
Still time consuming.
I would even argue that along with the Pokemon cards, watching me on Twitch, which by the way, for some listeners who don't know, when Paul is referring to Uncle Jolteon, that's my Twitch streamer alias. So I'm not trying to like advertise necessarily, but thank you for the plugs, Paulie. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
that.
You're
But watching people play video games or interact with people on Twitch is a form of social media that you were not really exposed to or involved with before this.
No, I graduated in 1999, which is the year
Showing
that
some
the
age there,
original
buddy.
Pokemon came out. Yeah, so
1999 is young to graduate. I just want to call that out.
Is that right?
I'm
You're old millennials, by the way.
just saying, like that
Exennials. but
No,
we'll go.
no, that's
to you
that-
guys, you're still in, whether you were in like middle school or freshman year in high school, something like that.
I don't know if I was born yet, but yeah, go ahead.
Okay, old man, you're not so young yourself no more, bud.
You're right. You're right.
But back then, it wasn't something that was readily available to me. Like I told you in previous podcasts, I was raised around a bunch of cartoons, none of which were Pokemon.
Sure, it
And
was a little
so-
bit out of your. You kind of were
Yeah.
too old for that at the start.
Well, yeah, and by the time Pokemon really became popular, I was in the Army, and then I got out and met Katie, and we started dating, and then we started a family and had a house and had a career, or job at least. No, I wouldn't call it a career. It just wasn't something that enticed me at the time.
Yeah.
And now, thanks to you, I really appreciate it.
I like the art, personally.
Yeah.
We could go into a whole lot of that.
Oh, we could. We
but-
go down a rabbit hole. The kaleidoscope art that
we-
we fell in love with the
Oh, yeah.
Magikarp,
Oh yeah. Well, with that, we're gonna ask Kyle and see what his new hobbies are.
Well, first, I have got a little bit of commentary about the hobbies that have been mentioned.
Uh-huh.
Anyone listening to this podcast who likes lawn care as their hobby, please contact me. You may come to my house and do the lawn care
Kyle, what do you
anytime
pay?
you want.
Oh,
It's a hobby. You like to do it. You
No.
don't need pay,
well, I like the hobbies that pay well too.
but you like to trim hedges. I noticed you mentioned that you like to trim hedges too. So I've got some nice
I was
burning
talking-
bushes that could I got to trim every fall, and it's right. It's almost it's calling your name if you're bored. That's all I'm
We
saying.
have burning bushes too.
Yeah.
And I will trim them for a small fee.
We'll negotiate later.
Okay.
We'll negotiate later. Kate, I'm thinking the next time you make me an article of clothing like you do from time to time, it's going to be embroidered. And
Oh, good thinking.
get a
Ooh.
Juicy Couture polo
Yeah.
shirt, right?
Oh, dude, those
Yeah,
pants!
There
Oh my god!
There may be some legal penalties if she does a juicy couture.
I
on a
already made
t-shirt.
him a juicy.
That was so funny.
It's fine.
Okay, so new hobby. I don't really have time for new hobbies. The closest that I guess you could say is Fortnite with you guys.
Yeah,
But I kind of call that a video game hobby, so I just use the time I'm playing. I would be playing any video game.
it's a change of game within the hobby you were already
Yeah.
involved with.
I
Yeah.
think the difference in that is we didn't typically. I don't know. I can't speak for Kyle. I never played video games on a regular basis
On
to
top
the
of
point to call it a hobby.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
So now I do.
and another thing that's new for us in our friend group. I've done this with Kyle several years ago, but we're voice chatting while we're playing, which
Yeah.
is like the next
It's like
layer of
it's like
of-
hanging out
yeah,
without
not-
actually
but not
physically
in the
being
same place.
with
Yeah.
each other.
yeah.
So there's that.
It's a connection.
Mhm.
But I've played video games regularly since I was 4. So that's a whole other topic is old video games. But the other thing that I've picked back up recently that I used to do a lot more of, and Joel, you're gonna really appreciate this one.
Sure.
It's reading books.
What is that?
Reading's the best.
Yeah, it is.
Hard
is.
pass.
Hard pass.
Because
TLDR.
my wife Sarah has gotten back into reading. She's gotten into reading these books that are. She started with this Akatar series, which is like fantasy romance. So it's got this whole fantasy
So it's
story
like smut.
and then smut. Yes.
Mm.
Joe, what's the next
I don't read.
topic?
I don't read any of that.
And anyway, as an activity to do with her together, I'm reading the same book so we
You're
can talk
reading the
about.
same smut.
There's some smut, yes. And anyway, that's kind of how I've gotten back into
the term smut, is that just basically you talking about like acceptable written
It's old lady
pornography,
porn.
basically,
Yeah, it's old
right?
lady porn.
It's literature porn. Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
A lot of old ladies read it.
Oh yeah, when I was a kid, it was Danielle Steele.
Yes. Yes.
and I can
With the provocative covers with like the horse and the dude
oh
without
yeah,
a shirt on.
yeah,
But
yeah.
but these books look like a fantasy novel. Like
Right.
you wouldn't necessarily know that suddenly you were going to get into all that. And so there's a couple of decent series that are good.
Is the story good for the series that you're reading?
So the Akatar story, I would say is fair.
Not the worst. Pretty mid.
It's mid.
Okay.
But there's
as the
another
kids
one.
say.
It's called The Fourth Wing. There's only 2 books. The series isn't even out yet, and it's a really, really good book. And that other stuff happens, and that's fine. But the story is really amazing. So
Okay. Okay. Well, as far as new hobbies for me, so yeah, video games are not really a new hobby, but I'm doing a lot of the same things that Paul mentioned because
We do them together.
we do them together, right? Like Kate's involved in the stream, Kyle's involved in the stream. So Twitch streaming is probably a new, it's something I've done now for almost a year. And another side hustle. Well, this podcast. We all forgot to mention this. This is a hobby of all of ours.
true.
This is something brand new to us in the realm of trying to have I'll call it an amateur setup. It's pretty good. I mean, I've had a few people comment that when they listen that they think that the sound quality's very, very good. But just getting together to talk about just random topics and just having a good time. Sometimes it's funny. Sometimes it's a little thought provoking. Sometimes we bounce off of each other and have good chemistry with things. But this whole podcast has been a really fun hobby and another great way to socialize and connect with my friends and kind of learn a few things about my friends, because sometimes we just don't have these topics that just randomly come up. The previous episode, we were talking about which animals, we thought if they could talk, which ones would be the rudest and which would be the nicest. So, just a random weird thoughts. But the last new hobby I have is I've started reselling on eBay. I've never, I was always so intimidated by the shipping element of it, right? Like it always seems so easy to, I'll take a picture of something, post it, here's what I'd like for it, or bid away and give me what you think it's worth. But then, measuring the item, weighing it, putting it in a box that'll fit, making sure that it doesn't get damaged in the shipping process. It's very overwhelming at first. And so what's nice is with the stream and me sending out like packs of cards to people, I got my feet wet with that, with the shipping element. And now I'm more comfortable with bigger shipments and being able to properly get things from my house to my customers.
You've even come up with your own opinions on the proper way to ship things. Painter's tape.
Oh my goodness, yes. Okay, so what Kyle's referring to is whenever I'm streaming, I will often order cards online, and then they get shipped to me. And sometimes they come in good packaging, and sometimes people use Scotch tape on things, and Scotch tape is awful. It's so incredibly sticky on top loaders for cards or anything like that. And so yeah, it's a bad. If you ship with Scotch tape, I just don't ship it to me. I don't want it.
Joel gets triggered by the Scotch.
I do get a little bit triggered by Scotch tape. All right, so we that was good. I didn't know you were picking up embroidery.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Have you only this project you're telling us about that you can't explain much more?
Yeah.
Is this your first time you've done?
This is my first time ever. So I've done like cross stitch as a kid. And so I thought it would be like that. It's completely different and it's so much more fun.
Really?
Yeah. And then I liked it so much I actually bought 2 more of them to do later.
Nice. Well, that's
so while
okay.
you guys are playing Fortnite, I'm going to be, doing my sewing shit. It's gonna
Can
be
I
awesome.
just say,
She usually sits beside me on the couch while I'm playing Fortnite
yeah.
and just
Yeah, either
plugs in.
embroidery or I read a book or I organize Pokemon cards.
Or you laugh at the half of the conversation.
Because I
you
can
hear
only
from Paul.
hear what Polly says, and I'm like, what the
Yeah, I have
F
my
are
head-
you even
I have my
talking
headphones
about?
on. She has no idea.
You
I
know
have
what?
no idea what you guys are saying.
But I can hear you sometimes.
Yeah, I hear her
But I
too.
think you
yeah.
commenting about it.
Do you hear me say, like, you guys are fucking weird?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. A
'Cause
lot.
I say that all the time.
We do,
like, what
we
are
do
you
hear that.
talking
That
about?
comes in loud and clear.
Yeah, because you guys are weirdos.
Hey,
Because I can't hear your side. I can
We're-
only hear Paulie's
we're your
responses.
weirdos.
And
You-
I'm like, God, they're so weird.
hey, listen. I'd like to invite you
So good.
to get on Discord, and you can mute your mic. That way, there's no echo. But then you can hear all of the conversation.
Well,
And then-
I would put my AirPods in.
Yeah, just do that.
Yeah, but if I'm reading, I can't. Because
Well,
I can't
not if
listen
you're
to
reading.
2 things at once.
But if you're embroidering,
That's true, I could. But do I want to know what you guys are really
It's not
saying?
that
we're
bad.
literally talking about Fortnite.
Yeah, most of the time.
Usually.
Yeah.
Where we're going.
Talking about Jizzy Fizzy.
How do we get
That's
there?
so weird, too. You guys need to think of a new damn name.
Dude, have you
But
seen how it works? It's like a champagne that they're
Yeah,
spraying all over
Yep,
the place.
It's weird because Polly, I will hear him say to you guys, I need some Jizzy. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so weird.
It's funny though, and it's so I love it whenever.
It-
when-
Or I'll
when-
hear him say,
Oh.
wait, guys, come here. We can all get in on this Jizzy Fizzy. I'm
Yeah.
like,
And I
"What?"
can't wait. I cannot wait to spray them.
Oh my god! And it's even more awkward whenever Ev's playing with us, and Paula says that he's like, "Can you guys not say that?" Oh my gosh! If you guys don't play Fortnite, then you don't. It's hard to understand what we're talking about, but it is funny. All right, well, let's continue on with the next question. How do you find time for your hobbies? And we'll start this question off with Kyle. How do you find time for the hobbies? And it's not necessarily the new ones. Any hobby that you have, how do you find time for it?
Gosh, I don't have time for it. But yeah, I have to schedule it. I have a calendar.
Yeah.
So things that I might call my hobbies. Before our podcast started, you mentioned that politics is one of my hobbies, which I guess is kind of true. But those things tend to happen on a schedule, being on an elected official. Um, I also volunteer with some charities in town, Eden's Glory and Core Community. I'll go to their panels sometimes. But those are usually for specific events with specific times.
Yeah.
Um, and then the other things like video games or reading is just my wind down time. I need to wind down before I can sleep, right? And
Yeah.
so if it seems weird that shooting people in Fortnite would wind me down,
It is weird.
I get that. That does sound weird.
I don't know. Have you ever shot a real gun? That feels pretty good. Not at people, but in a target range.
I've never shot a gun at people.
Right. Me
I have
too.
shot
Me
a
either.
gun- I have shot a gun at targets.
And that feels pretty good. So even virtually, I would argue, you shooting a gun virtually feels pretty good.
Yeah.
A little stress relief.
Put you right to sleep.
What I really think it is.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm doing well at a video game or I'm accomplishing my goal, then you get the endorphins from, hey, I just did a great job.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I got 11 or 12 kills this time
Mhm.
in Fortnite. That's pretty good for me, and so
Have
I
you-
feel accomplished, right?
Yeah.
Have you guys done the new update?
The one that came out like yesterday or 2 days ago.
I haven't.
I haven't played.
The guitar and Metallica stuff?
No, I haven't. Is it good?
So the island now is like a Metallica fest. But there's random
Oh.
guitars throughout the entire map. And when you
Is it a weapon?
When you use that guitar, it's like a gold. And you shoot up in the sky and you can direct where you want to go. It's the quickest it's the quickest
Oh,
mode
it's a
of
travel item.
transportation. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. No, I haven't had a chance to yet.
But there are some new updates, new weapons, things like that we just recognized yesterday.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you were familiar with yet.
I haven't. I did play Legos yesterday, but I did not. Play Battle Royale. I'll probably do that this weekend.
It's pretty sick.
Kate, have you played the new update yet? Oh wait, you don't
No.
play Fortnite with us.
No,
Makes me
thanks.
sad. You'd have fun with it,
I'm good.
Okay. Well, anyway, all right. So Kyle, the short answer is you have to make time on your calendar to make sure that it works, or possibly sacrifice a little bit of sleep to try to just get a little bit of that wind down time.
And depending on how much fun I'm having or whether I'm chatting it up with you guys or whatever, it might be a little bit more sleep than I even intended.
True. What about you, Paul? How do you find time for your hobbies?
Well, I mean, I don't really do anything to find time. As long as me and Katie has accomplished our chores for the day, whether it's outside or inside,
Mm-hmm.
or we're just ready to relax for the evening. We got a full house.
Yeah.
We have a 21-year-old now, a 17-year-old, and a 7-year-old, and plus a boyfriend of the 21-year-old. So a lot of nights we just retire to the basement. I might have to walk away to tend to the pool or whatever we got going on.
Sure.
She
Yeah.
does the same thing. But recently I'm going to the basement. We might start watching TV or something like that. And then I hear one of you guys on Discord saying, I'm getting on. And I'm like, babe, they're ready to get on. And I get
Ready
on.
to get it
I
on.
And she sits there and
They're ready for my Jizzy Fizzy.
Yeah,
there you
I'm sitting
are,
there like-
Kate. One of us.
and I spray the shit out you guys.
How about you, Kate? How
I
do you
don't really do
find?
anything.
Oh, I'm sorry, Paul. I thought you were
No,
still going,
you're
or I
fine.
thought you were done. You
You're
good?
fine. Yeah.
All right. What about you, Kate? How do you find time for your hobbies? And I know you do more than the
Well,
embroidery
That's like
too.
a super easy question to answer. I
Okay.
decide that I'm not going to do all of the things that I need to do,
Mm.
and then I just do the hobby.
Yeah.
So, like, Darren will be pissing me off because she's 7 and she's an 18-year-old at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So I get angry, I stop doing dishes, and I'll just go do my hobbies. Like, I'm like, oh, I'm going to read. Like, I don't know. I get fed up with everything around me and I go do a hobby. I go do something that I enjoy. That way I don't get super bitchy with everybody in my house because I can be not a friendly person.
I would argue for you that you use the phrase doing things that need to be done.
Mm-hmm.
And I think nobody would argue that there's always things that need to be done.
Yes.
But you're trying to do them while you're in a good mood, good enough mood. And then it sounds like at some point you're either one of two things happens. You're either just tired of doing the things that you need to do, or something's going to someone or something is really having a negative impact on your mood. And the only way
Mhm.
to bring you back is to just try to relax and do something that you want to do.
I mean, because really the only thing, like chores wise, that I dislike doing is laundry. I hate doing laundry. I don't mind putting things away. I don't that portion I don't care about. But the whole like switching everything over and having to remember to do it and then do it on like I don't know. It's just it bothers me. But
Yeah.
like when it comes to like cleaning things, wiping down things, sweeping, mopping, dusting, I don't mind any of that. None of that bothers me. So like usually if I got to get it done, I just do it and I actually enjoy doing it. But if someone is nagging at me or not liking what I'm doing or in my face,
Yeah.
7-year-old, like I get pissed off and I'm like I don't want to do something and not enjoy it, so then I go do something that I really like to do.
I think that's probably the best route for you to take. I
Yeah.
mean, sounds like you're really self-aware, and that's important. That is really important.
Yeah, and I don't want to be like super mean to my kid either because like I said I could be not very nice. So I'd rather just
She is
get away and do what I want to do and then I don't have to be mean to someone
Yeah,
that doesn't
she's-
deserve it,
She's challenging though.
That's what I just said.
Yeah.
I didn't say you didn't say that.
Oh, okay. You ended it in though, so I thought you meant something else. It's not a big deal.
Gotcha. So for me, well, one of my hobbies is the streaming. I have it scheduled, so that's just already on my calendar. The podcast, like what we're doing tonight, is kind of, it has, for me specifically, has to be at the mercy of a Friday or a Saturday that I have fairly open, and we're needing more episodes to be recorded. So, and also usually helps whenever Branson's working days, because when he's working nights,
Right.
he gets off super late. It's not really great to get over here for me to come over at 11:30 midnight to just get started on something. So that's how I make time for that. And then the eBay stuff is kind of, I still like doing it, but at the same time, it is pretty time consuming, especially two things that you do whenever you have to source your items. So it could just be things you have, or you could go to thrift store, yard sales, and take a chance and hopefully find something to flip. And then once you've got it, you got to clean it. You got to take pictures of it. You got to list it, which AI has been phenomenal for helping create good listings for things. But it's still a little more time consuming than I guess I thought it was going to be. And I just kind of fill in gaps, whenever I have an evening. But I'd like to just talk real quick about Fortnite, because one of the things that I've been finding is so in Fortnite, okay, I know there's probably a lot of listeners who are like, come on, stop talking about it. But within the game, there's
Kate's thinking that. I know that.
There's-
I am.
there's game modes, and the game mode that I typically play with Paul and Kyle
Is
is
that the no build?
no
talking about?
build. That's
Zero.
right.
It's zero
Look,
build,
see,
but-
I know all these
Zero
things.
build. Yeah, zero build.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, but it's
No,
a
zero.
battle royale. You're trying to kill all the other opponents, right? And I love that mode. My wife, Jessie, has gotten into playing the Lego version of it with me. It's not a battle royale, it's a survival game. And now I'm trying my best to balance out my video game time with my wife, because I love spending time with her, and my buddies, because I like spending time with them. right? And so it's just kind of like if I do one night, I'll probably do Lego the other night. And I try to alternate them. And I know a little bit about Paul to know that whenever I tell him I can't play or I'm not going to be available,
You break his
I
heart.
break his heart a little bit.
You
And
do.
I don't mean to. You know that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I know, but
to be honest with
That's
you,
okay because Kyle or Nick jumps on with him.
yeah, that's been
every
great.
night there's somebody to play with. And,
Yeah.
honest to God, I play Kyle. Me and you play quite a
played-
bit.
Yeah, we
We
played.
played
We played quite a few times.
And
We've even pulled the crown a few times.
absolutely.
yeah.
And I would appreciate your presence, but if
Yeah.
you can't, I'm not offended by it. Trust me.
I know. I
know what you're doing, and I know you're spending time with your wife.
Yeah.
It's all good. I got my wife sitting next to me. I'm playing with Kyle on the headset. I just prefer to play the game with somebody
Yeah.
versus nobody. Solo's
course,
okay. Solo's okay for a couple of games, but then it wears on me. But if I can just interact with somebody throughout the whole process, and
You're
just-
hanging out.
Yeah, I'm hanging out with Kyle or you or whoever, and I appreciate that more.
Oh, that makes the game way more enjoyable.
It's completely. Then it becomes interactive.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I like to hang out with you guys, and no, I appreciate every time me and Kyle play. We've had a couple times when it was pretty prolific games that we succeeded at, and I was very thankful for it.
Can I just I want to compliment you real quick. Being somebody who went from like almost zero video game activity
Yeah.
to playing pretty regularly, your skill level has accelerated quite a bit. You're a much better player than you were several months ago.
Well,
I've noticed it.
I could imagine that. Except, I mean, I'd love to play Mario Golf with you sometime again.
I know, but we're into Fortnite right now, dude. We're 12 years old again, dude. It's like you said.
I mean, the thing about the Fortnite is like you start to rank up and you get to where you want to be, where you start succeeding, gain these new tools, and then they change it on you. It's like a brand new game again. It's not brand new, but it's brand new. You know what I mean?
It's got a fresh feel to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to ask a quick question about Kate's embroidery hobby.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at you because I don't want you to say anything about it, but is Kate doing a really good job on this embroidery project? What do you think?
I think she's doing a good job.
Really good?
Yeah. I wouldn't do as well. I mean, I could sew your flesh better, and I could sew that.
Well, you're a
embroidery
nurse.
better.
I love how you just give these funny little quips, and people who don't know you like might be like, "Oh, what does he mean by sew your flesh?" He's a nurse, okay? And then you're like, "Oh, I was another typical week in prison." Like, I feel like we have to explain all of Paul's jokes because they're like kind of semi-inside jokes.
I apologize.
No, I think it's funny.
No, she did a really good job. I think her pattern
doing
looks
good?
really good, and it looks like the picture displays, and she's taking her time.
Well, that's good. All right, so we found our time to play our hobbies. The next question is, what is a hobby you'd like to try but haven't yet? What's a hobby that you would like to try and haven't yet? And this time we'll start with who did we start with last time? Was it Kyle? So we'll start with Paul. You got. What's something you'd like to try that you haven't tried yet?
I'd like to fly an aircraft.
Really?
Yeah, or deliver babies. One of the two.
Yeah.
Is delivering
As a
a baby
hobby?
a hobby?
It could
I mean,
be.
No, it's more of a goal or a milestone in life, but I think that's what hobbies are too. If you desire to achieve,
It could
those
be.
things, you
I
know?
could see
If you
Paul,
want to
like,
do it again,
going around and kidnapping people who are like 10 months pregnant so that they can have their babies. Like,
Honey,
you can
that's
deliver them.
ludicrous.
You would do it. You're going to be
I'm
like at a gas station waiting.
You know, I'm not saying that'd be a hobby, but I guess maybe something I want to do in my lifetime, or I would love to
like bucket list stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I
Mhm.
mean, that may be completely opposite of hobbies, I guess.
I don't think it's the opposite.
It's not
You
a
still-
hobby.
Yeah. Well,
I think it'd be cool to get my pilot license.
Pilot license.
Yeah,
Now that
yeah,
could be an actual hobby.
yeah, that could be.
Yeah.
And
Expensive hobby.
what if my hobby was to be a midwife?
I still think
Yeah.
I still don't think that's a hobby.
Why can't it be?
Can you be? So you're okay. Forgive me. This is going to sound kind of weird. Midwife, I always think is a female.
No, they can be men.
But why wouldn't they be called a mid husband instead?
Because it's a term from when
'Cause they're
everything was sexist.
Helping the
and-
wife too,
Yeah.
Yeah.
not the husband.
Can we call them mid husbands? Can we start a revolution?
I'm fine with whatever you call it, as long as I get to deliver a damn baby. I
What's
don't care.
what's the other name for a midwife? They're called something else too.
Are you thinking of a doula?
Yeah, doula. Be a doula,
Doula?
as your hobby.
Mm.
There you go.
I've never heard that term before.
No, we have doulas that are campers. At the
Doula.
prison. Yeah.
Yeah.
Spell that.
DOULA.
DOULA. Can you use it in a sentence?
The doula
Sure.
helped me through my pregnancy.
Right.
No, I'm being silly. Like people, the kids in the
Joel.
spelling
Oh,
bee.
like the spelling bee.
Joel,
Yeah.
that was very ignorant.
I guess I don't know much, so that's why I was asking. But okay, so you want to deliver a baby, not
Yeah.
necessarily a hobby. It's
mean,
more of like a bucket list
I've
thing.
always told you bucket list things.
Yeah.
I know they're not hobbies.
You
I-
did do one of your bucket list
I
things
did.
last fall.
I did. I wanted.
Or was it 2
the-
falls ago? It was 2 falls ago.
It will be 2 years this October.
Wow. Yeah. Tell everybody what you did.
I wanted to officiate a wedding, and I did that.
Yeah?
For a friend of ours.
You did a phenomenal job, by the way.
Thank you.
Very
I feel
professional.
like that could be a hobby.
That really could be a
it
hobby.
could be, and I enjoyed myself, and I felt like I did everything appropriately and professionally, and I kept it responsible. I didn't take it for granted. I mean, I don't think I did anything that would put, like embarrass them on their special
Not at all.
day,
I thought you did. It's just like we said. You did it professionally. I think you, from what I understand, from what you told me and what Kate told me, you spent a lot of time practicing. Maybe it was more the cramming at the last few weeks, but like you were making sure that you were practicing what you were going to
Well,
say. You did everything from memory. You
yeah.
didn't. I see professionals who have things written down. You did everything from memory.
I had it print what I wanted to say printed out, and I knew what they wanted. They wanted it short and sweet. It doesn't take long to memorize a 12 to 15 minute thing, or a
Sure.
speech or whatever. But when people have multiple moving parts, you know what I mean,
Mhm.
that are interactive, you're interactive, and their families are interactive. It did take a little time and a little repetition to get it down, and I didn't want to embarrass them or myself because they gave me the honor to do this
Of course.
as a friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wanted to do them proud, and I don't think it came down to the last few weeks, but I definitely did spend a lot of time that last few weeks to prepare myself.
Yeah.
And even the day of, just running it through your head over and over and over to make sure you had it good, because you don't know what the circumstances is until the day you get there. And like literally, I had it printed out what I wanted to do in case I had to refer to it.
Yeah.
I had it in like a folder so that if I was up there and at the altar and wanted to refer to it, of lost a location, I could just look at it and find my spot. Well, then after I talked to them and how they wanted to do the ceremony of the rings and things like that,
Yeah.
I was like, there's no way I can do the rings they want me to and hold this folder with the material inside. It's going to be too cumbersome.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, I'm just going to go for it.
You're just gonna commit it to your memory.
Yeah, I'm just going to go for it. And that way I can deliver it the way they want me to with the rings and things like that. But I was glad you guys are there to witness it because it was a good day for me.
I know that.
I wish it could have been recorded.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Was I think it would have been something neat for you to watch later on, but we wanted to respect our friends' wishes because they didn't want any photography, no videography or anything while it was going on. So
and the thing coming from that standpoint, when you're standing in front of a bunch of people at what we would consider like pews, essentially,
sure,
is to make sure in its open air, and so you don't know how your volume's carrying. I was trying to make sure that I carried across to the back of the people in the very back, the audiographer and a videographer and all that, could
Yeah.
hear me clearly, and they said they could hear me just fine. But I was trying to make sure that I was vocalizing everything I wanted to say loud enough that they could understand what I was saying and conveying. And that was the biggest thing for me, is trying to be loud enough naturally outdoors. But
So it wasn't
well.
just the memorizing, but making sure that you
Yeah.
could vocalize and physically make yourself like at the level that you needed to be basically a human megaphone almost.
Yeah, I remember looking at the guy in the background that was doing all the audio.
Yeah.
And he was like, like that.
Thumbs up. Yeah.
Yeah, and because I was looking at him like, am I good? And
Sure.
he clearly gave me the thumbs up saying I can hear you just fine. And I was relieved by that, and it kind of helped me relax, because we didn't really have any preparation time.
Yeah.
There was no like run through the entire wedding. The only time we went through it was literally the day it occurred.
Yep. And that's how it goes with a lot of weddings. They're kind of fly by the seat of your pants with people who, you're as somebody who used to DJ, a lot of times it was like, all right, this is what we're doing, and this is when you're going to play this song, and you're going to play this song, and go. There's not really much practice that goes along with it.
And there was
Well,
many.
Paulie, do you mind if I pause you for a
No,
second?
go ahead.
I
Go
love hearing your story here, but we need to get over to Kate and find out what kind of hobby Kate is interested to maybe try.
I want to play tennis.
Tennis.
I used to love playing it as a kid,
Yeah.
and I'm super out of shape, and I think it would get me into shape, but then I'm going to need Paulie to also play tennis, and he kind of has a bad knee, so...
What about pickleball?
I
I was
can
going
I
to
don't
say
wa-
we're getting new pickleball courts
I
right
don't
in
want to play
Greenville.
pickleball.
I
I
can
want to
still
play
move.
tennis.
I can still move.
What is the difference between pickleball and tennis?
Bigger court?
Yeah?
The size of the paddle.
Pretty
That's it.
much. Otherwise, it's the same game. It's
Let-
just easier.
let's-
It's
let's,
tennis.
Let's not dog on my
It's tennis
on
for old
my
people.
hobby.
No.
I wanna
What
pick
we're
up.
trying
No,
to say is maybe it would
No,
be
I'm
an
just
easy.
giving. I'm just giving him. a
Oh,
hard time.
okay.
You're right.
Regardless
you're
of my
right.
knee or your knee, I can still play some tennis.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like it would be fun. I want to wear like a little tennis skirt and like play tennis. And
I want you to wear a tennis skirt.
Hey yo.
See, there we go. We're playing
Yeah.
tennis.
Do you wanna do like the really loud grunts like whenever they
Yes.
serve?
I want to do. I want to do all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna need like a little like ball boy to.
Let's
like,
hear it. Let's hear your grunt.
I'm not.
No, you
prepared.
you pretend you're getting ready to serve. No, that was Paul. Don't try to. Don't be fooling nobody. Just close your eyes and
can't.
pretend.
I can't.
Come
I
on.
can't. I have to make it perfect. And
Just imagine you're doing the perfect serve right here.
no,
it's
it's
an
gonna
ace.
sound like I'm pooping.
Maybe.
Is that what it sounded like?
Yeah, I guess.
Huh?
No, I'm
I'm
not doing
imagining
it.
it. Come on.
No, but
Oh,
I do.
all right.
I want to play tennis, man. I wanna
Let's
tennis.
play.
So you have played before though.
Yeah, I used to love playing as a kid. Absolutely loved it. Had my own
you
tennis
play in
racket
high
and
school?
everything. No, I did not
Why not?
because I did cheerleading and track.
Oh, it was just too much.
Yeah, well, track and tennis are at the same time.
Did you enjoy track more?
Yeah, I love to run. Well, not so much anymore because I vape and I'm fat. So,
Well,
but
aren't we all?
yeah, I absolutely loved running. Running was my favorite.
When you were in track, did you compete pretty well?
Yeah, I did good.
What events did you compete in?
200 and 400, and then I did discus and shot put.
Really, like Ev?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that you did all this. This is what I was talking about. I'm learning things about my friends I had no idea about because I didn't go to high school with you, right?
The 400 was my master one. So
Really?
like to train for the 400, you ran 800 as hard as you could. That way, when you were in competition and you were running a 400, it was like easy breezy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a good time.
See, I didn't.
I
know
also did fill in hurdles. So like there's a point system when it comes to track. So like the girls track team, if we only had like one person doing hurdles, we needed to get more points.
that. Mm-hmm.
And so I also did hurdles if it was a competition where you could have more than one person competing.
I actually have no idea how the point system works, but what I'm gathering is if it's like you're competing in an event, but your school is also kind of competing for points across
Yes.
all of the
Yeah.
events.
So like sometimes I would do the 4x200 as well, and the 4x400.
Gotcha.
And you're also only allowed to do so many events. So
So you can't have like somebody who's just incredibly athletic play every single one
Correct.
and just be a ringer.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to have a variety. Huh.
yeah. So sometimes, I mean, I always ran the regular 400 no
Yeah.
matter what, but then I would fill in wherever they would need me to fill in. Like if someone got injured, then I would take over theirs and whatnot. But I always did discus. Discus I was always in, and 400 I was always in.
And do you feel like you performed really good at discus as well?
Not really. I was always like mid pack. I never got like first, second, third. I would always get like anywhere between like fifth and ninth.
Really?
Yeah. But I mean, if you have 30 girls competing, that's not that awful.
No.
But I was never like super great at it. I mean, these girls that throw discus and shot put are super tall and super muscular, and I was short and super thin. So
When I don't remember when it was exactly, but no, I think it was last summer. Maybe it was Everett's birthday or something, and he had a bunch of his friends over, and
Yeah.
they were out in the field.
it was 16th birthday party last year.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yep.
And he was, throwing the discus out there, and I didn't realize, and this is because I hadn't done it before, how much the form and technique affect
Yeah.
that
They do.
event, right? Like if you have good technique and good form, you're going to, you can be as strong as a bodybuilder, but if you don't have good form or technique, you're not going to get
Yep.
the disc as far as you possibly could, right? And so like that's where I think it's fascinating. I wish that I went to a smaller school and they didn't offer those things, so it was not something I was well versed in at all. So it's literally just me. I'm learning new things as a 36-year-old.
Yeah. Every's hoping to get recruited for discus.
What if he got good enough? He was in the Olympics.
That would be amazing.
That'd be
How
But like
cool
he
would
has
that be?
he has NCAA like recruiters like looking at him. So I just got an email today from
if next
Indiana
year,
University.
Yeah, if he get hit 150 next year, he'd be locked in.
Oh, he would be way locked
For
in.
like a scholarship or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if he got 150, he's pretty much going to be on a team no matter where he picks.
His discus shot up significantly in his.
He's
junior
at
year.
119.
That's his best ability or best event.
Yeah.
It's his favorite too. Yeah,
That's
he's
good.
He's really great at it. But like I said today, I got a email from.
But he continually works on his form.
He
Yeah.
does.
He's trying hard to excel at this event.
Well, good for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad that
He
he's
loves
involved
it.
in that. He wouldn't have been able to do that at his previous school because I went to the school that he went to
Exactly.
before. And even though it was a small school and I appreciated it, I thought it was really good. It just didn't have all the same opportunities. And from, not to put too much time into talking about Ev, but
Yeah.
he just seems to be excelling in this new school, which is where we're from essentially.
Yeah.
Because he's got new friends. He's got,
Yep. He has an
Just a
amazing
lot of
grade point
opportunities, too.
average. He's doing great in sports, his
Yeah.
cross country and track, and he's doing great in both of them. And
He
Yeah, he's a
loves
good
cross
kid.
country.
yeah.
Yeah.
and he's middle of the pack. Like he's not
But he's
super great, but he's not super awful either. And
but he also
just
wants to
continues to go. Like
continue to grow too. He
Yeah.
wants to continue to grow physically. He wants to get stronger because he knows it's going to help
yeah.
as well as his form. So he practices both. He's doing good.
Yeah,
That's good.
He runs 4 miles several times a week. So
Wow.
yeah, he's very dedicated. He's a very dedicated kid.
I've never run 4 miles in my life.
I would never want to run 4 miles in my life.
You know,
But
I
I
want-
was very good at track and field on the Nintendo when I was
you had the track and the
the
pad,
power pad.
the power pad.
yeah.
I have one of those.
Yeah.
I've never used it. I bought it because I was collecting Nintendo stuff for a long time, and now I'm basically just trying to get rid of it.
the power
Sell
pad.
it on eBay.
Yeah,
The
I'm gonna
power
be-
pad did work.
Oh,
It
I know
worked.
it did. Yeah, I've seen it. Nintendo was ahead of its time, But that's a conversation for a video game category sometime.
Yeah.
We need to ask Kyle what's a hobby he'd like to try that he hasn't done yet.
Well, I've sort of a little bit started, but not nearly what I want. I want to travel. I want
Travel.
to travel and learn, immerse myself in other cultures,
Yeah.
and most importantly, eat their delicious
Eat
food.
their- food.
Yes.
And so,
Give me all the food.
and that can be different places in America too. There's lots of different cultures in
Yeah.
America, but Europe and Asia and South America and Africa. I want to go to all these places and kind of experience
cool.
what it's like there.
But that's like you said a while ago, that you can do that anywhere in America. You can have all those foods, all those diverse foods
Mm-hmm.
right here in America because we're so diverse.
We are.
There
We
are
are.
areas that literally are specifically diverse in those cultures.
You're not wrong. What I'm going to say though is, unless you go to, I'm probably, I don't know for sure, but what I hear a lot is, unless you go to like an actual neighborhood with people who are from
Yeah.
those areas. I'm not talking about like restaurants. I'm talking about like somebody at cooks in their home in the traditional style. Almost all other restaurants are Americanized
Yeah, that's
versions of those ethnic foods. And I think what Kyle may be trying to
Yeah. He's
Seek
talking
out
about
more-
traveling outside
travel,
of the country.
yeah, and actually get their true take on their cuisine. But I understand what you're saying too. I'm just saying
And their
that
different climates too would be cool. All the different climates
Yeah.
you can go
Different-
to.
Different climates, different.
Man,
What do they do for entertainment? What do
I'd
they?
love to go to Greece.
Greece, yeah.
Yeah, things like that. So Sarah and I are hoping to go to Europe for our 25th anniversary.
That would be super awesome.
That is
And-
awesome.
We haven't totally decided where we want to go yet, but we think starting in southern France or southern Spain, southeastern Spain, going up
The
through
Iberian
through
Peninsula.
through southern France to the Riviera, French Riviera, down to the Italian Riviera, and basically just eat our way through Europe,
Awesome.
and other things, but and get all the authentic. It's the authentic cuisine that we want, not the Americanized.
Yeah. That's very cool.
And when we've gone to like the Caribbean or things on cruises,
Yeah.
we always, when we get off the ship,
Yeah.
are going after the
We all
authentic
I think we
restaurants.
all agree that the best part of travel is eating.
Oh, that's probably the number one for me. And then the second best is trying to find some way to relax. Like,
Sure.
I mean, I like sightseeing. I do get something out of that. But then, and if I were going to Europe, you mentioned going to Spain and France. I would like to be able to say I've seen
Yeah.
things, especially if I don't know if I'm ever going to go back. Which that's kind of the if you're going through something the first time, you got to kind of get the seeing out of the way, and then if you go back the second time, then that's kind of maybe we can relax a little bit more, right? I mean,
Sure.
I've seen you
Yeah?
specifically, Joel,
yeah.
nap
Oh yeah,
at the best
That's
of your
his
ability.
superpower.
that is
on-
a superpower.
on multiple foreign islands.
That's actually that's my new future hobby.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to
How
say.
many islands?
I
can
want
you
to nap
upon?
on different islands or different areas, and I want people to just take a picture of me taking a nap somewhere.
And you'll have like a picture, like a memory book of
Yeah.
just like
I
a
was-
picture album of
I was
just
napping
you
I've
here.
never
napping.
seen somebody nap so well in a foreign country.
My favorite nap of all time
Yeah,
was
Bimini.
Bimini.
Yeah,
Was that a
Oh, in the hut
was in
thingy
Bahamas.
that we
It was
were
in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right after the
the
storm,
little
Yeah.
because it was cooled off enough.
it was like a clamshell thing.
Yeah. that's what it was.
Yeah, clamshell thing, and
Dude, you rested so well.
Like we went
Dude.
to the pool because the ocean was flipping crazy, and you just slept, and we had so much fun at the pool.
it was the perfect perfect napping scenario for me. First of all, it was comfy, so it was nice and cushiony. There was a blanket, so even though it's not really cold, there's something about having a blanket over you
Yes.
when you sleep. For me,
And it was
Like
a
a
good
sheet?
breeze. It
Oh,
was a
there
good
was a
breeze.
great breeze and the actual ocean noise. Like I like
and the
whenever
ocean was crazy that day.
I like
so
hearing like ocean noise. Like you can put it on your speakers. I like hearing that too. But the actual ocean, and you can smell it too. The salt.
yeah.
Yeah. And there was a tropical storm coming through that day.
Yeah, there was. It rained like crazy that day.
It did.
That was the best nap of my life, and I've taken many naps.
And then we went out in the ocean after we woke you up.
We did for a little bit, but it was pretty choppy.
Yeah, it was
It was rough.
dangerous.
But the
Then
nice
we
thing,
got in the pool.
well, and kind of going along with the storm thing, is it scared so many people off that they didn't even really get
There was
off on the island. So it was
I swear
very secluded.
there was
It
a
was nice.
freaking swordfish or something
Was there?
jumping in the water next to us.
Wow, I didn't realize
Yeah, I
that.
didn't either.
I feel like we just took over Kyle's travel conversation. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
You're good. That was my hobby.
You're going to go to Europe. I am excited for you. And I want to get
And I-
some tips because me and Jesse want to go someday.
Do you want
And I hope it's the first of
Mini.
a series, because by that time, my kids will be out of the house or on their way out of the house. I hope.
Yeah.
I'm crossing my fingers.
Yeah.
And then maybe
They
we'll.
never leave.
Well, you mentioned you got the 21-year-old.
Do you want to run with the bulls?
Oh, I don't want to run with the bulls. I'd love
He doesn't want to run.
I'd love to watch someone run with the bulls. I'll watch Kate run with the bulls.
I don't want to run with the bulls.
You said you love to run.
Not anymore. I said I was old and fat now.
Well, let's move on to our very last question. And it is, have you ever turned your hobby into a career or even a side hustle? And I'll just go first. I have turned my Pokemon card hobby into a bit of a side hustle through my Twitch stream. And it has been a lot of fun. Without going into a lot of detail, I don't make much money off of it. That's not the point. It helps me it allows me to open up more card packs than what I would do on my own. And I have helped my other friends, all three of you and many of my other friends, get into a hobby, and we share it and we can talk about it and we can trade and we are helping each other. And so like it builds a nice community. The eBay stuff, I made some money off of it, mostly through my video game collection. And now that's kind of like, I still have a lot of it, but I've sold a good chunk of it. It's slowing down a little bit. So I don't know if I love the idea of keeping that going forever. I'd rather put more energy and time into the Pokemon card element and the stream element. But yes, my short answer is yes, I have done that, and I am very much enjoying it because they say that you shouldn't ever turn your hobby into like a career because then it's not a hobby anymore. But I feel like there's times where it's a little bit like overwhelming, waiting 2 or 3 episodes, and then now I've got to pack up cards and mail them out and make sure that I get everybody's stuff, and that does get a little bit tedious at times, but what I hear sometimes from my viewers and friends is you'll experience the cards twice. You see them happening on the stream, and that gives you a dopamine effect. And then sometimes when you get them and you hold them in your hands or they come in the mail, that also does the same thing. So, yep. Oh. All right. So let's ask Kate. Have you turned any of your hobbies into a side hustle?
So for a couple of years, I had a website where I would sell some of my crafting stuff because I really wanted to continue making things, but I just had so much stuff, like just a crazy amount of things that I made. So Paul was like, yeah, why don't you try to sell some of it? And I did pretty decent on it, but comes down to the whole fact that then you have to ship it and then you have to mail it and then you have to do all these things
Yeah.
and you have to get them out in so many days, and it became almost like a burden.
It's
Like
a monster.
I was happy to share my art with people, but I would much rather just make things for people's birthdays or just because and just give it to them. Or if someone comes to me and says, "Hey, I really want this, can you do it?" then I'll make it for them, and then I just charge them what it cost me to make it. Like, I don't make any money from it because I actually enjoy doing it. But I haven't even done that in a while. Like, I'm getting ready to make my siblings and myself some stuff out of my dad's flowers from his funeral. But of course, I won't sell that, you know.
Right.
But, so I mean, I used to, and it was fun until it wasn't fun anymore.
So you reached a limit that just didn't make it
Well,
enjoyable for you.
you work all day, and then I got to take care of my kids, and then I got to clean my house, and then there's sporting events, or there's homework, or there's showers, and then next thing I know, I get a ping on my phone that I've sold, this item or that item. Well, I got to get it shipped out in 2 days because that's what I have on my website.
Yep.
So it's like then I got to stop everything I'm doing, and I got to weigh things and measure things, and it was just too much. I was like, this isn't fun. If it was my career,
Yeah.
then sure. Like that would be my business plan and I would have working hours for that, but I don't have working hours for that because I work full time at my actual job. So, yeah.
So you've done the side hustle, and for the most part, it sounds like
It's just too much work, and
It's
it
too
takes too
much.
much time.
it does. It can
Kind of takes the
sometimes.
fun out of it, and I if it's something that I enjoy doing, and even though I know that it brings joy to people, I'm like, no, I'm done. Not doing this.
You can't sacrifice your own,
Yeah. Yep.
mental health and physical health just because you're trying to make other people happy all the time.
Yep.
That's
Exactly.
just, yeah.
And sometimes when you stop something for a while and come back to it,
Yeah.
it feels really good to
Yeah, it
come
feels
back
like brand
to
new.
something. Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Kyle?
Well, I guess the hobby that I turned into a career of sorts, a side hustle of sorts, is politics. Since I did run for city council and actually lost the first time and tried again and have been elected twice. Now I have to decide if I still want to do that this coming cycle, which I have to decide by this fall.
Hey, if you need somebody to help you put out flyers, I'm your man.
Joel was my campaign manager one year. Sort of.
Kind of. Well, we did put flyers out.
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah,
I
was
helped
good.
you pick out which ad to put in the paper.
you did. Yeah.
A lot of us helped to contribute. And whenever those, by the way, I don't listen to our local radio station regularly, but the night of those elections, both of the nights that those, which are usually city council and the mayor, right? They happen at the same time. And
If it's the mayor's up.
if the mayor's up, and the last time it was. And so I do turn that on, and I think it's usually Miff who's on doing the results, and I like to listen. And it, even though I'm not the councilman, you're my friend, and whenever I hear that you're, you're ahead, or you got,
Shared victory.
you got, yes, I feel that for you, and I think that's
Yeah.
super great. So
So the last time the mayor wasn't up, he'll be up again this coming year because it's four-year terms.
oh,
but-
is it really? Oh,
but they
maybe the last.
alternate.
Okay, wow.
Mhm. So
Huh.
you missed a whole election.
Well, you
But
weren't.
I
be-
wasn't
you
on the
weren't. be-
ballot.
That's what it was. The last time you were on, that was when, and the time before that. So you're on the
Every 4 years.
you're on the same route or the same time when the mayor
Correct.
is on. So that's why
Correct.
I think of that. Okay,
Twice
Gotcha.
is pretty good, though.
but huh?
Elected twice is pretty good.
Oh, Kyle is phenomenal. I think we can all agree.
Mhm.
For those who have spent a lot of time with Kyle over the past few years, and I've touted on him for many times to people, that Kyle helps me or has helped me with group conversations and fostering an open forum with with an open mind, I guess what I'm trying to say. Like,
Well, Kyle's very fair.
Yes,
He'll
very
help
fair,
you.
very
He'll help you
balanced.
weigh the pros and the cons. Whether it's something he truly like wants to support, he'll give you the pros and the cons for it, no matter what,
Yeah,
which is helpful.
me and him have agreed on many things, and yet he'll still play devil's advocate just because
Yes.
he also wants to know what the opposition might be thinking
Yep.
or what somebody else might be thinking. Because I think that's something we could all learn from is, you know, just because your opinion on a topic is X, doesn't mean that maybe other people who think Y, uh, that they're not, valid, right? I mean,
Yeah.
there's lots of life
the-
circumstances that happen. Go ahead.
The way I look at it is, if I'm going to be confident about a position, I need to know what the best argument is for the position that I don't
Necessarily
with.
support.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, how do I know if my position to me is the right position? If I don't
Right,
know what
exactly.
the other side or sides, there's often more than one other side, and
Yeah.
and so in order to do that, I need to learn about it. I have to engage in what that other position is. And sometimes I think of things when you say I'm playing devil's advocate. Sometimes I realize arguments as I'm trying to sort of steelman a position that I don't necessarily support in my heart.
Yeah.
I start to think of, oh wait, I just came up with a really good point I never thought of before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to defend a position for fun, kind of. So,
Yeah, and it's a good exhibition match, if you will, for debate. Not necessarily an argument, but a debate. And I know that you and I and uh, really everybody here, we've all had good conversations with each other. Sometimes we agree, and sometimes we don't. And that's where I think that really plays into your strengths, Kyle, as a politician, is that you're able to try to educate yourself and try to form an opinion because you're trying to be an official representing the masses here in our town. You're trying to make a good decision on things and
that
make the
and
best decision you can.
and also to take everyone else's opinions and positions and even feelings
Mm-hmm.
seriously. It's really easy to to ignore people who don't agree with you, or to demonize them, or think that they're not smart, or not, that they don't know what they're talking about, and that can prevent you from taking them seriously. But
Yeah.
really, everybody, almost everybody that I've come across and had taken the time to have a real discussion with, they are intellectually serious, morally serious. They are people too, just like us, right? And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
and they deserve the same kind of dignity from me as anybody else does. And so, which does not make me always popular, that I provide
Yeah.
that level of dignity to people.
Yeah, you don't have to have that superior education to have that right opinion.
Sure.
Right. Right. So, Paul, do you have the last question is, do you have any have you turned any of your hobbies into a career or side hustle in the past?
No, not at any time recent. There was a time when I was more into the service industry
Yeah.
that me and my brother wanted to do, like a gutter business on the side or something like that.
Yeah.
Trim hedges.
Well, I could do that for you still, Kyle. I will do that for you, Kyle, for the
For
right
a
amount of
small
money.
fee, so
Yes. Well, it's not small; it's marginal.
marginal. Okay.
I paid every pretty well for power washing my fence.
I will definitely.
He's jobless, so if you have any more jobs,
Wait,
Who?
he quit?
he
IGA?
did. He did.
He did.
Oh, I'll
So
have
if
to
you-
ask you about that
So
later.
if you have any jobs, we have someone for you.
I
He
will keep that in
resigned.
mind.
Gotcha.
But I at the moment, I really don't have anything.
Well, I mean, you don't have to have anything. It was just a question to see if
I've-
anybody's had any success with a side hustle or with a hobby being turned into a side hustle or
You
not.
know, the side of like you're saying like for successful purposes. Me and Katie's wanted to open a Jimmy John's for years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something you would like to do.
Yeah. Never done it.
No, you're going to do it though someday. I believe it.
I've wanted to open a business with my brother for a lot of years, whether it be gutters or
Jimmy John's.
anything in the maintenance industry as far as like home.
Like a handyman
Yeah,
kind?
yeah. We just never did it.
Well, that's okay.
I don't have anything.
You don't have to have anything.
A lot
buddy.
of people don't have a hobby that they turn into a side hustle because it just remains a hobby. It's
I mean,
something that
I'm-
you want to continue to enjoy. A lot of times, side hustles you don't enjoy. So
Yeah, well,
it makes sense.
I would like to have something, but I don't have anything.
That's okay, buddy. All right, so we're gonna wrap up. We discussed our hobbies and interests. I don't know what a good name for our podcast episode's gonna be, but we're gonna figure it out.
Vote Kyle.
Vote Kyle, maybe. That's fine.
Who has
But,
not decided whether to run again.
Well,
Yeah.
vote for him anyway. And I think
You will.
here's what I learned. I'm going to summarize this really quick. I didn't know that Kate embroidered and loves tennis. I didn't know that Paul wanted to fly or try to take flying lessons.
Or, well, actually, you do know that one day I plan on, after I retire,
Yeah.
running for coroner.
Oh,
That's right.
well, that's true.
You do know that.
You have told us that before, and I'm going to support you whenever you run for that too. And I know that Kyle likes to travel. I didn't necessarily know what his next travel plans were with him and his wife. And also, the offer still stands. Anybody who has a hobby of mowing lawns or doing general labor, Kyle is your man. You can reach out to him, and he'll be happy to let you come and use your creative hobby skills
To get joy.
Stay away.
to get joy,
joy
paid
from-
paid in joy and happiness.
Stay away. It's my job.
All right, y'all. Thank you guys for listening to the Best Forking Friends podcast. We'll catch you guys next time.
See
Peace
ya.
out.
Bye.
Best Forking Friends, friends till the end. Best